Have you ever felt disconnected from the frantic pace of the modern world, as if you were searching for something deeper, something more authentic? According to Carl Jung's psychology, old souls are those individuals who seem to have lived many lives due to the depth of their perception and their inclination toward introspection. In this video, we explore why these souls often prefer solitude, how this relates to their search for meaning, and what strategies you can use to balance your need for alone time with the demands of an externally focused society. Discover how to embrace your essence and live in harmony with your true nature. An old soul is not just a poetic term, but a way to describe people who seem to have transcended the superficial concerns of daily life. These individuals often have an intuitive understanding of the world around them and are more drawn to deep and transcendental topics than to the trivialities of modern life. From Carl Jung's perspective, this unique sensitivity could be linked to greater access to the collective unconscious, a shared dimension of humanity that contains universal archetypes and symbols. Old souls are distinguished by their innate desire to seek meaning and purpose. They do not conform to social norms without questioning them. Instead, they are drawn to exploring concepts like spirituality, philosophy, and symbolism. This can manifest from an early age, when they prefer introspective activities such as reading, art, or music over the typical games of other children. In adulthood, their inclination for depth may lead them to careers in creative or humanitarian fields, where they can contribute to a broader purpose. However, being an old soul is not without challenges. These individuals often feel out of place in a world that values instant gratification and superficial connections. They may experience loneliness, not for lack of company, but because they struggle to find people with whom they can share their deepest ideas and reflections. This disconnect can lead to feelings of isolation, but also to greater self-reflection and self-discovery. From a psychological perspective, old souls often show a strong tendency toward introspection and analysis of their own experiences. They may have a complex relationship with their psyche, alternating between periods of deep self-reflection and moments of withdrawal from the noise of the external world. This cycle allows them to process emotions and thoughts at a level others may not fully understand. An interesting aspect of old souls is their natural connection to the past and tradition. They often feel an affinity for cultures, histories, and concepts that transcend their personal experience. For example, they may be drawn to classic literature, ancient myths, or Eastern philosophies because they find truths within them that resonate deeply with their worldview. Carl Jung argued that this connection might be explained by the influence of archetypes from the collective unconscious, which act as universal patterns within the human psyche. At the same time, this inclination toward the symbolic and the timeless can make it difficult for old souls to adjust to the practical demands of daily life. They may feel overwhelmed by social expectations or mundane responsibilities, often retreating to seek solace in solitude. While this withdrawal may be necessary for their psychological well-being, it can also become an obstacle if it distances them too much from human interactions. For old souls, the key lies in finding a balance between their inclination for introspection and the need to connect with the outside world. This involves cultivating meaningful relationships with people who value their depth and authenticity, while also ensuring they set aside time for self-discovery and personal reflection. Ultimately, being an old soul is not just about having a unique perspective, but about learning to integrate that perspective into a balanced and enriching life. The collective unconscious is one of Carl Jung's most fascinating concepts. Unlike the personal unconscious, which consists of individual memories and experiences, the collective unconscious is a shared reservoir of universal images, types, and symbols underlying all of humanity's psyche. For old souls, this connection seems especially intense, allowing them to access a level of wisdom and understanding that transcends personal experience. Old souls appear to have a natural bond with this profound level of the psyche, enabling them to recognize patterns and meanings in the world that others might overlook. For instance, they may be sensitive to symbols in dreams that reflect universal archetypes such as the hero, the shadow, or the sage. Jung argued that dreams are not merely expressions of unconscious desires, but also messages from the collective unconscious, offering guidance and clarity in moments of uncertainty. This connection to the collective unconscious can also manifest as an affinity for certain traditions, myths, or cultures. Old souls often feel an inexplicable attraction to themes or places they have not directly experienced. This resonance may be explained by the presence of archetypes acting as psychic magnets, drawing these individuals toward ideas or stories that mirror their inner processes. However, living with this connection is not always easy. Old souls may feel overwhelmed by the symbolic richness they perceive in the world. They might see profound meanings in everyday events, which can sometimes lead them to question their place in the grand scheme of things. While this type of thinking is enriching, it can also be exhausting if not balanced with a practical, grounded perspective. A notable example of how old souls interact with the collective unconscious can be found in their relationship with nature and art. These individuals often find inspiration and solace in natural beauty or artistic expressions that capture the sublime and eternal. According to Jung, art and nature are reflections of the collective unconscious, as both contain archetypal patterns that resonate deeply with our psyche. For old souls, the connection to the collective unconscious can also be a source of purpose. By exploring the archetypes and symbols that emerge in their lives, they may find clues about their spiritual and personal path. However, Jung warned that this connection can also be dangerous if not approached carefully. The collective unconscious contains both luminous and dark aspects, and exploring its depths can be a challenging process, requiring emotional and psychological maturity. Ultimately, the connection to the collective unconscious is both a gift and a challenge for old souls. It allows them to see the world with unique depth and clarity, but also forces them to confront the complexities of their psyche. By learning to navigate this dimension of the mind, they can discover an inexhaustible source of wisdom and purpose that enriches not only their own lives, but also those of others. Archetypes are universal patterns present in the collective unconscious, and according to Carl Jung, they act as internal guides shaping our thoughts and actions. For old souls, certain archetypes are particularly relevant, as they reflect their inclinations toward introspection, deep knowledge, and contemplative isolation. These archetypes are not merely abstract concepts, but living forces within the psyche that influence how these individuals interact with the world and themselves. One of the most prominent archetypes in old souls is the sage, representing the pursuit of truth and a profound understanding of existence. Guided by this archetype, old souls feel compelled to explore philosophy, spirituality, and psychology, seeking to unravel life's mysteries. However, this quest is not superficial. It demands the courage to question norms and confront uncomfortable truths about existence. This archetype also often makes them natural counselors, sharing their wisdom with those who seek guidance, even if they do not always find a receptive audience. Another crucial archetype is the explorer, symbolizing the desire to discover the unknown. For many, this archetype manifests through physical travel, but for old souls, the exploration is more internal. Their curiosity drives them to delve into their unconscious, confront their shadow, and uncover hidden aspects of themselves. This archetype pushes them to transcend societal or self-imposed boundaries in the pursuit of deeper authenticity. The hermit is another fundamental archetype for old souls, embodying the need to withdraw from the world to find clarity and spiritual renewal. This archetype validates their inclination towards solitude, helping them understand that isolation can be a powerful tool for reflection and self-awareness. However, the hermit also has a darker side, the risk of disconnecting entirely from the outside world. Old souls must learn to balance this tendency with the need to maintain meaningful relationships with others. In addition to these three primary archetypes, old souls may be influenced by secondary ones that emerge at specific moments in their lives. For instance, the hero may be activated when they face challenges requiring courage and determination, while the healer may emerge when they use their wisdom to help others overcome pain or confusion. These archetypes are not fixed but dynamic, evolving with the individual's experiences and needs. And interacting with these archetypes is not always straightforward. Old souls often feel torn between their internal impulses and external expectations. For example, the sage may push them toward a life of reflection and teaching, while the explorer invites them to break routines and seek new experiences. This internal conflict can be a source of growth but also of tension, especially if they struggle to integrate these aspects into a coherent whole. According to Jung, consciously working with archetypes is essential for the process of individuation, the path toward personal fulfillment. For old souls, this means recognizing the forces that guide them, embracing both their gifts and challenges, and using them to build a meaningful and balanced life. In doing so, they not only find their purpose, but also inspire others to explore their own connection to the collective unconscious. Solitude is not merely a physical state, but a psychic space where transformation can occur. For Carl Jung, solitude was essential for integrating all aspects of the psyche. This intentional isolation allows individuals to connect with their unconscious, confront their fears, and discover hidden parts of themselves. For old souls, solitude is not a random choice, but an inherent need to explore the depths of their being. In the Red Book, Jung described his own periods of solitude as pivotal moments in his personal development. During this time, he practiced what he called active imagination, a method of consciously interacting with images from the unconscious. For him, solitude was not an empty isolation, but a laboratory for the soul, where he could dialogue with the internal forces shaping his life. This approach resonates deeply with old souls, who often seek retreat to process their experiences and connect with their inner world. However, solitude can be a double-edged sword. While it serves as a refuge for self-discovery, it can also become a prison if prolonged too long. Old souls risk isolating themselves from the external world, leading to feelings of disconnection and alienation. According to Jung, the key lies in finding a balance between introspection and social interaction. While solitude is necessary for inner growth, human connections are vital for maintaining a sense of belonging and purpose in the world. Solitude can be especially powerful during times of transition or crisis, when old souls need to reevaluate their path and reconnect with their purpose. In these moments, isolation allows them to listen to their inner voice without the distractions of the external world. But this process requires discipline and courage, as confronting the unconscious is not always comfortable. Jung warned that exploring the depths of the psyche can bring forth shadows and internal conflicts that must be integrated to prevent them from becoming sources of suffering. Moreover, solitude has a creative component. Many old souls find inspiration in this space for art, writing, or music. According to Jung, creativity is a direct expression of the collective unconscious, and solitude provides the ideal environment for these images and symbols to emerge into consciousness. For this reason, old souls often view their isolation as a necessary stage for manifesting their unique vision in the world. To make the most of solitude, Jung recommended establishing rituals or practices that help structure this time. This could include meditation, journaling, or contemplating nature. These activities not only foster self-awareness, but also help old souls stay connected to the present and avoid letting their retreat become an escape from the real world. In summary, solitude is a powerful tool for old souls, provided it is used with purpose and balance. It is not about avoiding the world, but about finding a space where they can recharge their energy, confront their inner challenges, and emerge with greater clarity about who they are and their place in the world. Synchronicity, one of Carl Jung's most fascinating concepts, refers to the meaningful coincidence of external and internal events that lack an apparent causal relationship. These experiences often occur during moments of transformation or crisis, when the unconscious is active and manifests through signs in the external world. For old souls, synchronicity is not a rarity but a recurring way of affirming that their introspective journey is aligned with a greater purpose. In the context of solitude, experiences of synchronicity take on an even deeper significance. Old souls, as they withdraw from the noise of the external world, become more attuned to noticing these meaningful coincidences. For instance, they might be reflecting on an important question when a book addressing that very topic unexpectedly crosses their path. Or, in a moment of doubt, they might encounter someone who offers precisely the words they need to hear. For old souls, these events are not mere happenstances but messages from the collective unconscious, providing guidance and affirmation on their journey. Jung observed that synchronicities often occur during periods of intense transformation, such as personal transitions, the beginning of a creative project, or the search for meaning after a loss. These meaningful coincidences serve as nudges from the universe, reminding those who experience them that their lives possess an order and purpose that transcends conventional logic. For old souls, who often feel disconnected from the material world, such experiences reaffirm their connection to something greater. A classic example of synchronicity documented by Jung involved a patient whose rigid mindset was impeding progress in her analysis. The patient recounted a dream about a golden scarab, a symbol of transformation in many cultures. While she spoke, a golden-green beetle tapped against the consulting room window. This seemingly trivial event had a profound impact, breaking down the patient's resistance to the therapeutic process. Events like these, though simple in appearance, are powerful because they link the internal world of the psyche to external events in a meaningful way. For old souls, synchronicity can also act as a spiritual compass during moments of doubt. These coincidences provide clear direction or remind them that they are on the right path. For example, they might meet someone who shares a similar vision just as they are considering a major life change. These moments not only ease their uncertainties, but also reinforce their connection to the collective unconscious and the archetypes guiding their lives. However, it is important for old souls not to interpret every event as a significant synchronicity. Jung cautioned that the unconscious can also project illusions or confusing symbols, which, if misinterpreted, can lead to misunderstandings. The key is to discern when a coincidence has genuine meaning and when it is merely a random occurrence. This discernment requires introspection and self-awareness, skills that old souls typically develop over their lifetimes. Moreover, experiences of synchronicity should not replace conscious action. While these events can offer guidance, old souls must remember that they are responsible for their own decisions and actions. Synchronicity is a powerful tool, but does not exempt one from the necessary work of integrating the lessons into daily life. Ultimately, synchronicity is a reminder that old souls are not alone in their search for meaning. These meaningful coincidences are like messages from the collective unconscious, reminding them that their introspective journey is connected to the broader fabric of existence. By paying attention to these experiences and acting with intention, old souls can find clarity and purpose along their path. Old souls have a natural inclination towards solitude, but they also need to interact with the external world to maintain their psychic balance. While isolation can be enriching, Jung emphasized that interaction with others is crucial for the full development of the psyche. In his writings, he argued that the process of individuation requires both introspection and social integration. For old souls, achieving this balance can be particularly challenging, as they often feel that superficial connections add little value to their lives. Isolation offers them a space to reflect, process emotions, and connect with their inner world. However, excessive solitude can lead to emotional isolation, leaving them feeling disconnected from others and from the flow of everyday life. Jung warned that prolonged isolation can create a state of psychic stagnation, where thoughts and emotions become repetitive and lose their vitality. Old souls must learn to recognize when their solitude shifts from being a sanctuary to becoming a prison. On the other hand, social integration does not mean participating in activities or relationships that do not resonate with them. For old souls, the quality of connections matters far more than the quantity. They can find fulfillment in small, meaningful circles where conversations go beyond superficial topics and delve into depth and purpose. According to Jung, these authentic connections are essential for personal growth, as they provide a mirror through which old souls can see and understand aspects of themselves that might otherwise go unnoticed. A common challenge for old souls is finding their place in a society that often values productivity and appearances over authenticity and depth. This mismatch can make them feel alienated, prompting them to retreat further. However, Jung stressed that true individuation involves engaging with the world without losing touch with the inner self. This requires courage and creativity to find ways to integrate their unique perspective into the fabric of daily life. One useful strategy for achieving this balance is setting clear boundaries. Old souls must learn to protect their emotional energy while remaining open to meaningful interactions. This might involve dedicating time to activities they are passionate about, such as art, writing, or volunteering, where they can share their wisdom and connect with others authentically. By doing so, they not only enrich their own lives, but also inspire those around them. In conclusion, finding a balance between isolation and social integration is essential for old souls. Solitude provides a space to explore their inner world, while meaningful connections offer an external perspective that deepens their understanding of themselves and the world. By embracing both aspects, they can live a full and authentic life, where their wisdom benefits not only themselves, but also those fortunate enough to cross their path. Wisdom, an inherent quality of old souls, is not always easy to bear. While it is a gift that allows them to see beyond appearances and find meaning in the profound, it can also become a burden. Carl Jung explored how the connection with knowledge and introspection can be both a path to fulfillment and a source of isolation and anguish. Old souls, being constantly in touch with the deeper aspects of life, often face the challenge of balancing their sharp perception with the need to live in a world that frequently prioritizes the superficial. From a Jungian perspective, the wisdom of old souls is intrinsically linked to their connection with the collective unconscious and the archetypes it contains. These individuals possess a unique ability to perceive patterns and understand universal truths that others might overlook. However, this gift comes at a cost. They often feel the weight of an unspoken responsibility to share this knowledge with others, or to act as guides within their communities. This pressure can become overwhelming if they do not strike a balance between their desire to contribute and the need to protect their emotional well-being. One of the most common challenges for old souls is the feeling of being misunderstood. With a worldview that transcends the ordinary, they can feel disconnected from those around them, especially if others do not share their concerns or value the depth of their thinking. This disconnect can lead to loneliness, but it also provides an opportunity to deepen their self-understanding and develop a stronger relationship with themselves. Jung emphasized that isolation can be a powerful tool for personal growth, provided it does not become an excuse to avoid engaging with the external world. Introspection is another defining characteristic of old souls. While it is an invaluable source of self-discovery, it can also be a precarious terrain. Spending too much time reflecting on inner problems can lead to rumination, a mental loop where negative thoughts repeat endlessly. Jung highlighted the importance of transforming the ideas and emotions uncovered during introspection into concrete actions. Without this integration, the wisdom gained may stagnate, contributing to feelings of frustration and disconnection. On the other hand, well-managed introspection can be transformative. For old souls, it is a process that allows them to understand the motivations behind their actions, accept their shadows, and reconcile the contradictory aspects of their personality. Jung described this process as individuation, the journey toward integrating all parts of the self into a coherent whole. For old souls, this journey is particularly relevant, as their connection to the collective unconscious gives them more direct access to the archetypes and symbols necessary for this integration. The burden of wisdom also manifests in their relationship with the external world. Old souls are often perceived as antennas that pick up the conflicts and tensions of those around them. Their empathy can be so strong that they absorb the emotions of others, which can become exhausting if they do not establish clear boundaries. This sensitivity is a blessing in their ability to offer comfort and guidance, but it can also be a challenge if they do not find ways to protect their emotional energy. It is vital for old souls to view their wisdom not as a burden, but as a resource to enrich both their own lives and the lives of others. This requires finding ways to share their knowledge in ways that are accessible and relevant to those around them, whether through art, teaching, or simply listening. Old souls have the potential to be beacons of light in a world that often craves depth and understanding. Dreams and symbols hold a central place in the lives of old souls, who tend to have a unique and profound connection with the language of the unconscious. Carl Jung described dreams as messages from the unconscious, a gateway to understanding the hidden aspects of the psyche. For old souls, these dreams are not mere nocturnal fantasies, but guides offering clarity, direction, and comfort during moments of uncertainty. Unlike others, old souls often remember their dreams with greater frequency and detail. These dreams are often rich with symbolism and universal archetypes, such as the hero, the sage, or the shadow. A single dream might unfold as a complex narrative with multiple layers of meaning, requiring sensitivity and openness to interpret. According to Jung, symbols in dreams should not be taken literally. Instead, they must be understood within their personal and cultural context, as they reflect not only the personal unconscious, but also the collective unconscious. For example, an old soul dreaming of a river might be encountering an archetype associated with the flow of life or emotional transformation. This symbol could be an invitation from the unconscious to reflect on a change that is occurring or needs to be embraced. Similarly, dreaming of light emerging from darkness might represent the integration of repressed aspects of the psyche, a recurring theme in Jung's work on individuation. Dreams can also act as mirrors for inner conflicts. Old souls, being deeply attuned to their unconscious, may notice recurring patterns in their dreams that reflect unresolved dilemmas or unexpressed desires. For instance, repeatedly dreaming of a crumbling house could symbolize an area of life that needs rebuilding or re-evaluation. Jung stressed the importance of taking such messages seriously and using them as starting points for introspection and conscious action. The practice of active imagination, a technique developed by Jung, can be especially useful for old souls. This method involves consciously interacting with the images and symbols that emerge in dreams, allowing the dialogue with the unconscious to continue during waking life. For an old soul, this practice can provide a clearer map of their inner journey and help them integrate the messages of the unconscious into their daily lives. Beyond dreams, old souls often feel a special affinity for symbols in the external world. They may find meaning in seemingly mundane events, such as the appearance of a specific animal, a song that plays repeatedly, or patterns in nature. For them, these symbols serve as reminders of their connection to something greater, and affirmations that their journey has a higher purpose. However, it is important for old souls not to become obsessed with interpreting every symbol or dream. Overinterpretation can lead to distraction and confusion. Instead, they should focus on discerning which symbols hold genuine meaning and relevance to their current experiences. By doing so, they can harness the wisdom of these messages while maintaining balance and clarity in their lives. Jung warned that excessive focus on introspection and symbolism could lead to a disconnection from everyday reality, which could be counterproductive to the process of individuation. Instead, he recommended approaching symbols with curiosity and respect, allowing their meaning to gradually reveal itself rather than forcing interpretation. Ultimately, dreams and symbols are powerful tools for old souls, enabling them to explore their inner world, connect with the collective unconscious, and find guidance on their journey of self-discovery. By paying attention to these messages and using them consciously, they can transform their lives into works of art filled with meaning and purpose. Relationships can be complex for old souls, who often feel that their way of seeing and experiencing the world does not align with conventional dynamics. Their inclination toward introspection and deep meaning often leads them to avoid superficial interactions, preferring authentic and purposeful relationships. While this is a strength, it can also make building lasting connections difficult in a world that often prioritizes immediacy and simplicity. Carl Jung noted that human relationships are essential pathways to self-discovery, acting as mirrors that reflect aspects of our own psyche. For old souls, the primary challenge lies in balancing their desire for depth with the need to engage in everyday interactions. These individuals often feel drained by relationships that lack meaning or demand too much emotional energy. This does not mean they should avoid such connections, but rather that they must learn to set healthy boundaries. For example, they might choose to attend social gatherings with the intention of connecting with like-minded people, instead of feeling obligated to meet external expectations. Authenticity is another crucial aspect of relationships for old souls. They value honesty and transparency, avoiding dynamics based on appearances or manipulation. According to Jung, authenticity not only strengthens relationships, but also fosters mutual growth. By being clear about their needs and boundaries, old souls can attract people who respect and value their way of being. This includes being willing to share their wisdom and unique perspective, provided the other party is open and receptive. A common obstacle for old souls is their tendency to feel responsible for the emotional well-being of others. Their natural empathy often leads them to take on the role of caregiver or counselor in their relationships, which can be enriching but also exhausting if not managed carefully. Jung emphasized that each individual must take responsibility for their own growth and healing. It is important for old souls to learn how to offer support without sacrificing their own energy or well-being. To manage relationships effectively, old souls should develop communication skills that allow them to express their needs and desires clearly and respectfully. For example, instead of withdrawing when a relationship becomes too demanding, they can have an open conversation about how to balance expectations. This clarity not only improves relationships, but also reduces the sense of misunderstanding that many old souls experience. Old souls must also remember that not all relationships need to be deep or transformative. Jung emphasized that casual connections also have their place, as they offer a way to engage with the world without the pressure of constant depth. These interactions can provide relief and lightness, balancing the emotional intensity that often accompanies more meaningful relationships. An important aspect of relationships for old souls is the conscious selection of the people with whom they share their time and energy. By surrounding themselves with individuals who value introspection, creativity, and authenticity, they can build a supportive circle that allows them to grow and thrive. This does not mean avoiding those who do not share their perspective, but finding a balance between challenging and nurturing relationships. Finally, it is crucial for old souls to work on their relationship with themselves. Jung argued that all external relationships ultimately reflect our internal relationship with ourselves. By cultivating deep self-understanding and acceptance, old souls can project this harmony into their connections with others. This allows them to navigate relationships with confidence and authenticity, creating bonds that not only enrich their own lives, but also inspire those fortunate enough to know them. The process of the individuation, according to Carl Jung, is the core of the human experience and the ultimate goal of the psyche. It involves integrating all parts of oneself, consciousness, the unconscious, the shadow, and archetypes, into a coherent and authentic whole. For old souls, this journey is especially relevant, as their inclination toward introspection and self-awareness naturally places them on the path of individuation. The journey begins with confronting the shadow, those aspects of ourselves we prefer to ignore or repress. Jung believed the shadow contains not only negative traits, but also unexplored potential, and facing it is essential for personal growth. For old souls, this process can be challenging but enriching, as it allows them to reconcile internal contradictions and release psychic energy previously trapped in inner conflicts. A crucial part of individuation is engaging with the archetypes of the collective unconscious. Universal symbols like the sage, hero, or healer serve as guides on the path to self-integration. For old souls, these archetypes are not merely abstract concepts, but living forces that shape their choices and worldview. By consciously engaging with these symbols, they uncover hidden aspects of themselves and deepen their understanding of their life's purpose. Individuation also requires harmonizing the internal and external worlds. Jung believed that personal growth cannot happen in isolation. It demands interaction with both the environment and others. For old souls, this means sharing their wisdom and creativity with the world while staying connected to their inner life. Striking this balance not only fosters their own flourishing, but also positively impacts those around them. This journey is neither straightforward nor finite. Individuation is an ongoing process that evolves through new challenges and experiences. For old souls, this endless quest can be both exhilarating and daunting. Yet Jung emphasized that individuation isn't about achieving perfection, but about becoming the most authentic version of oneself. A pivotal aspect of this process is reconciling the conscious and unconscious. Practices like active imagination, dream analysis, and meditation, as suggested by Jung, enable old souls to access and integrate messages from their unconscious. Through this work, they transform not just themselves, but also contribute to the evolution of collective consciousness. Ultimately, individuation is deeply personal, yet its significance is universal. For old souls, attaining this state allows for a life of meaning and fulfillment, while positioning them as catalysts for change. By living with authenticity and wisdom, they inspire others to embark on their own journeys of self-discovery. The path of individuation is a profound reminder that we are all striving for wholeness. For old souls, this journey is both a challenge and a gift, offering infinite potential for transformation and spiritual growth.